Hello, my lovely people. Smart here, and welcome back to Smart Sports Studio, where we don't just read scores, we read warning. Wolves 2, Aston Villa 0. And if you're a Villa fan, you didn't just lose 3 points. You lost peace of mind. Let's set the scene properly. Villa went to Molineux with title talk still floating around the room, and Wolves basically replied, "Title? Brother, you might need binoculars just to see fourth place if you keep playing like this." This was a game Villa had to control. And instead, they got controlled when it mattered most. Now, the scoreline says 2-0, but the story is more specific. Wolves didn't win by accident. They won by timing, discipline, and 2 moments that basically slapped the match out of Villa's hands. The first big moment came just after the hour mark. João Gomes broke the deadlock around the 61st minute. And it wasn't some slow build-up where Villa could reset and say, okay, we'll respond. It was a strike that flipped the mood instantly, and suddenly the entire stadium woke up. And then when Villa started chasing, when they pushed bodies forward and tried to force the equalizer, Wolves did what smart underdogs do. They waited for the game to stretch, stayed alive, and hit the knife twist late, deep into stoppage time. Rodrigo Gomes made it 2-0 on the counter at 90+8. That's the kind of goal that doesn't just beat you, it embarrasses your game management. So what actually happened in the match, tactically and emotionally? Here's the wild part. Aston Villa had more of the ball. They finished with roughly 61% possession, and they also had more shots overall. But football is not a possession contest. It's a punishment contest. Wolves were comfortable letting Villa have territory as long as they weren't giving up clean, high-quality chances. And Villa didn't turn their control into cold-blooded finishing. Even the shot data tells you the tone. Villa had more attempts and more shots on target, but Wolves took the lead and then defended with purpose. The kind of defending where every clearance feels like a tackle that says, not today. Now let's talk about the bigger headline behind the headline. What this means for Villa, from title outsiders to top 4 anxiety in one night. Villa's situation just shifted, because when you lose a game like this, the table doesn't just change, the psychology changes. From the updated standings around this result, Villa are sitting on 51 points after 28 games, while the teams behind are hunting in packs. United, Chelsea, Liverpool, all sitting close enough to smell Champions League spots. That gap that felt comfortable now feels like a chair with one leg missing. And here's the scariest part for Villa fans. This wasn't a we got unlucky match. This was a match where your overall control didn't become goals, and your vulnerability in transition got exposed at the worst time. When that happens repeatedly, you start getting the top 4 classic problems. Problem 1, pressure football. Once a team starts thinking don't drop points, they play tighter, safer, and slower. Problem 2, one loss becomes 2. Not because the squad is bad, but because confidence gets noisy. You start forcing passes, you start shooting early, you start arguing with refs, you start doing those captain claps after misplacing a 5-yard pass like you're trying to hypnotize yourself into belief. Problem 3, the race behind you isn't polite. United and Chelsea don't ask permission. Liverpool don't send apology letters. If Villa leave the door open, someone is walking in like they own the house. And Wolves? This was bigger than 3 points. Let's give Wolves their flowers. This season, Wolves have been living near the bottom, and this win mattered on 2 levels. 1, it's a massive boost for belief and momentum, especially in a relegation fight where even one win feels like oxygen. 2, this result also came with a weird historical note. The win helped Wolves move beyond the all-time low points territory people kept talking about. That Derby record low points tally that gets dragged into every relegation conversation. Wolves don't want to be remembered for worst ever. They want to be remembered for we survived the chaos. Key moments that decided it. Let me break it into the match-defining small big things. 1, Wolves scored first, and that changed everything. At 0-0, Villa could be patient. At 1-0 down, Villa had to chasing open spaces. 2, Villa controlled the ball, but Wolves controlled the danger. Possession without incision is just cardio. 3, the late second goal was a lesson in game management. If you're Villa and you're still pushing everyone forward at 90+8 without protection behind the ball, you're asking to get punished. Wolves didn't even hesitate. So, can Villa still make top 4? Yes. But the question is no longer, can they chase the title? The question is, can they stabilize fast enough to avoid being dragged into a top 4 scrap where every match feels like a final? Because a couple more results like this and suddenly you're not talking about Champions League nights. You're talking about Thursday night flights. And here's where Villa must be ruthless. Turn possession into early goals. Stop conceding moments in transition. Don't let this become a bad run. A bad run is just a losing streak with better PR. My prediction for what comes next. Villa's next games will decide whether this was a bump or the start of a wobble. If Villa respond with a strong performance, the narrative flips back. But if they follow this up with another drop, then you'll see it. The press conferences will get spicy and the fan base will start splitting. Final question for you, and I want honest answers. Villa fans, are you still thinking top 4 is guaranteed, or are you officially in seatbelt mode now? And Wolves fans, is this the result that sparks a survival run, or was this just a one-night miracle at Molineux? This weekend's fixture list is the kind that makes the league table start sweating. You know those weekends where one team is praying for a slip, while another team is praying their own legs don't slip? Yeah, that one. Let's start in England, because the Premier League doesn't do peaceful weekends. It does plot twists. First up, Liverpool versus West Ham. And the headline here is simple. Liverpool are chasing points like rent is due, and West Ham are chasing points like relegation is calling on FaceTime. Liverpool come in needing momentum in that Champions League chase. And the key question is whether they can control the game without turning it into one of those chaotic end-to-end and everybody is stressed afternoons. West Ham's angle is survival football. Stay in the game long enough and pressure does the rest. And pressure at Anfield isn't just loud, and it's psychological. Liverpool have been grinding out results lately, but they've also been dealing with key fitness issues that can affect rhythm, especially in the final third. My read, Liverpool will try to start fast, squeeze West Ham with early width, and make it a territory game. West Ham will likely aim for two things: break the first press and win fouls in areas that let them breathe. If Liverpool score first, they can manage the match. If West Ham score first, then you get Anfield anxiety, and suddenly every cross feels like an emergency meeting. My prediction, Liverpool win, but it won't be pretty. Think 2-1 with late control, not early comfort. Now let's go to Leeds versus Manchester City. And this one is scary for Leeds because City don't just beat you. They convince you your game plan was a prank. City's big opportunity is obvious. Win your match, keep pressure on the teams above, and keep that title chase alive. Leeds, on the other hand, have the classic underdog formula. Make the game ugly, stay compact, turn it into a running match. But here's the hard truth. City are built to solve different problems. Low block, they've got patience. High press, they've got calm. Chaos, they've got structure inside chaos. And when City smell 3 points available, they usually become ruthless in the second half. My prediction, City win. I'm leaning Man City 3. Leeds 1, Leeds might score, but City will create too much. Next, Fulham versus Tottenham. And this is where I need everyone to breathe, because Spurs are the football version of, I don't know what I'm going to do next either. Fulham at home will fancy their chances because they can play with aggression and discipline. Spurs will have moments of quality, but their big challenge is always the same. Can they defend transitions like a serious team for 90 minutes? Fulham will look to attack spaces around Spurs when Spurs commit numbers forward. If Tottenham lose their spacing, Fulham can turn one pass into a chance. Spurs need maturity. And yes, I said maturity and Tottenham in the same sentence, so if lightning strikes me, you'll know why. My prediction, draw. I'm calling 1-1 because Spurs will create, Fulham will punish, and everybody goes home unsatisfied. Now, Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. United's story right now is momentum, and momentum is a dangerous thing because once fans start believing, the team starts running like they've got extra lungs. United are chasing Champions League positioning, and these are the games you must win if you want top 4 without late season panic. Palace are tricky because they can defend in numbers. Palace inconsistency is the reason they're vulnerable in games like this. United's key advantage is freshness and confidence. The key risk is switching off. Palace don't need 10 chances. Sometimes they need one messy moment and one rebound. My prediction, United win 2-0. Solid, controlled, not a classic. Now the big one for table drama, Arsenal versus Chelsea. This is not just a match. This is 2 sets of pressure meeting in the tunnel. Arsenal's pressure is the title race. Chelsea's pressure is top 4 survival and identity. Arsenal at home will try to suffocate Chelsea with tempo and territory. Chelsea will try to disrupt rhythm, slow the game, and then spring their moments. But here's the difference. Arsenal's structure is designed to keep you defending longer than your brain wants to. They move you side to side until you start making lazy decisions. And lazy decisions become goals. If Arsenal win, it's momentum and message. If Arsenal drop points, it invites the chasing pack to start talking louder. Chelsea's best hope is to stay alive until the last 20 minutes and then turn the match into a street fight. My prediction, Arsenal win 2-1, but Chelsea will make it uncomfortable. Now let's slide into Spain, because La Liga this weekend is all about pressure timing. Barcelona versus Villarreal is a serious test because Villarreal aren't tourists. They'll actually play football in your stadium, and that's what makes them annoying. Barcelona will try to dominate the ball, dominate territory, and create overloads in wide areas. Villarreal will look for quick switches, clever runs behind, and moments where Barca's rest defense gets stretched. This is one of those matches where Barcelona need patience, but also need control when the ball is lost, because Villarreal will punish sloppy transitions. Prediction, Barcelona win 2-1, but it's the type of match where one mistake can flip everything. Then we've got Real Madrid versus Getafe. Madrid in these games are usually about one thing. Can they break the wall early? If they score early, it can turn into a comfortable professional win. If they don't, it becomes one of those "why is the box so crowded" matches. Getafe's role is clear, compact, aggressive, and trying to make Madrid lose emotional control. Madrid's edge is quality and variety. Prediction: Real Madrid win 2-0. Madrid manage it. And then, Real Oviedo versus Atletico Madrid. And yes, this one screams trap game energy. Atletico's challenge in matches like this is always the same. Can they impose their intensity without letting the game become chaos? Atletico can win ugly better than most teams alive. But if they underestimate the opponent, the match becomes emotional and physical, and that's where surprises happen. Prediction: Atletico win 1-0. Classic Atletico special. Not pretty, but effective. Now Germany, because the Bundesliga is serving us a heavyweight collision. Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. When these two meet, the table doesn't just shake. The entire league narrative shakes. Dortmund's best chance is tempo, bravery, and pressing at the right moments. Bayern's best chance is control, experience, and clinical finishing when Dortmund gets stretched. And this match always comes down to one question: who makes fewer emotional mistakes? Bayern can survive pressure and still win. Dortmund sometimes play like they're trying to win beautifully instead of win smartly. The team that wins is usually the one that stays calm when the game turns into noise. Prediction: Bayern win 2-1. But this is the match I trust the least to predict because derby energy doesn't respect logic. Now let's pull it all together, because every weekend isn't just about games, it's about table consequences. In the Premier League, the key is this: Arsenal can't afford careless points in big matches because City are the type of team that punish hesitation. Liverpool are chasing the Champions League zone hard. And the gap-tightening effect happens fast when one of the top 4 contenders drops points. That's why games like United versus Palace and Arsenal versus Chelsea matter. They're not just 3 points. They're 3 points plus pressure on your rivals. In La Liga, if Madrid win and Barcelona slip, that swing hits twice: points and psychology. But if Barcelona win and Madrid drop points, the pressure flips instantly. That's why these routine fixtures aren't routine at all. They're title race landmines. In Germany, Dortmund versus Bayern is a multiplier match. It doesn't just move points, it moves belief. So here are my weekend calls: rapid fire, Liverpool win, City win, Fulham Spurs draw, United win, Arsenal win, Barcelona win, Real Madrid win, Atletico win, Bayern win. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these predictions is going to age badly in 24 hours? And which team is about to shock us and turn the league table into a group chat argument? Drop your predictions in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with that one friend who always says, "Football is predictable." I want to see his face after this weekend. This is Smart Sports Studio, and I'm Smart. See you after the weekend chaos.